Howdy.
Dude, how are you always late? You're fired.
I
Turn in
was
all
thinking
your shit.
8:30 for some reason.
We've never done 8:30. We're live, FYI. We've never done 8:30. We've never done
Yeah, I'm fucking out of it.
9:45. We've never done fucking what comes after midnight. 0001 000.
Mm. Kids have been driving me fucking nuts. All that time off of school, Jesus Christ. I can't wait for them to just fucking have a whole week of school. Get lost! I tell you, we were really let down today. Right by my work, 2 blocks away is a high school, and they were gonna have this youth wrestling thing where we were gonna start sending the kids to. So, 'cause I work almost every Sunday, double time, and it starts like usually when I get off, I was just gonna change my hours like an hour. So then grandma would drop them off at 4 o'clock, and then I'd get off work at 5, go pick them up and bring them home. And we just paid the thing today or whatever, and then we got a message like, "Oh, I thought we closed registration because we didn't get enough kids, so they ended up closing." And my coworker was gonna change his weekend hours to send his kid there too, so that would have been 3 more kids. But that's my lead. He's actually really pissed because he was supposed to go to first shift starting Monday, and they told him this weekend he couldn't go. They can't find a leader or supervisor for my shift. So yeah, he's not very happy right now
Why don't you apply?
because I don't have know enough about the shop to fucking be a leader or supervisor. I need to get my 2 before I worry about getting a 4.
I don't know what 2 or 4 means.
Well, pay grade.
Hmm.
Be nice if I was. Be like fucking $14 more an hour. 15 actually. Yeah. 15 actually. Yeah.
Wait, talk again? Never mind, I can rewind.
Shop to fucking be a leader or supervisor. I need.
Never mind, I can rewind.
Sounds good. I'm liking this game.
I don't know what game that is.
Banishers.
No. Talking about the game that I told you about back. Let me see my notes
I was
here.
always interested in it. I just didn't have time for
February
it.
29th, to be exact. The
Yeah.
day that I
Well,
beat it, which took me 45 hours.
it's gonna be just like most games that come out in February this year. I won't play them till fucking next year because there's too many goddamn games in February. I can only play so many.
I don't understand. I did my list real quick, and I've only played 11 games that came out last year.
Jesus.
I couldn't even do a full top 10 list. Now, there's been numerous games that came out last year, but I'm not going to grade a game if I haven't beaten it yet. So there's only 11 of them that came out in 2024 that I actually played and that I beat.
Well, I beat a lot of my backlogs from the earlier in 2021, 2022, 2019, 2018. There's still games I haven't finished yet, but the
What
majority
up,
of them I
Henry?
have.
I mean, so have I. I fucking did 90.
2021, people don't ever talk about that, but that was like a slow year. Like I played tons of backlog games.
I beat 98 games in 2024. 2021, I don't think I was keeping record then. Yeah, I starting keeping records in 22. But I mean, 22, I beat 69 games. In 23, I beat 47. That was a slow year. 24, I beat 98 games. I mean, but a lot of the games that I beat each year are the same. Like in 2022, I beat Gears and all the Halos. 2023, I beat all the Gears and the Halo. 2024, I beat the Gears and the Halos. So, I mean, that's like 10, 12 games right there. Well, we have Mr. Henry Heck here with us. Seems to be it. Who else is doing podcasts tonight? Let's see. P-Rock is live. I don't see none of our friends over there, though.
Is anyone joining us tonight? I should probably ask somebody.
Weapon Wheels live? Nah, fuck that place. I've listened to maybe like a total of like 3 Weapon Wheel podcasts a couple years ago, and I cut that shit off. I can't deal with that shit. Can't deal with it at all, bro. Motherfuckers are
They
ignorant,
keep
bro.
firing motherfuckers too.
I don't really give a shit about none of them motherfuckers. Whatever they all got coming, they get. I don't like that shit. I don't like the ignorance. I don't like the fucking racism. I don't like none of that shit. Fuck that podcast. Matter of fact, fuck all them dudes over there too. Well, let's get it popping. We have Henry in the house. We have Will, and we have Nelson. That's all we really fucking need. Actually, Nelson, where the fuck you been the last couple weeks, dude? Last year you bitched out because you couldn't fucking handle it. So what you been doing?
Dealing with children, I can't wait for them to go back to school and have a full week of school. What the fucking have CPS called again?
Why don't
They've been
you
out of control.
Why don't you drive them by an orphanage?
I should.
My
I was thinking
sister
about what was the movie I was thinking about making them watch. I can't remember what it was.
Annie.
No, there's another one I thought of recently. Damn it. I'll figure it out.
My sister was telling me that in Brookfield they have what do you call those prisons for kids? Juvie.
Juvenile.
They have a juvenile prison where parents Matilda. That's a
No.
good fucking movie. I just seen the characters of Matilda, but in today's age. And remember the fat boy that ate all the cake, the chocolate cake?
Yeah.
Bro, he had a glow up for real. Dude got a square jawline and everything. Oh, besides the point. She was telling me about this juvie who you can call and they'll take your kids in. You got to pay. I don't know how much it is. She didn't find that out, but you can pay and you can keep them there however long you like. So you can keep them there for a week, a month, whatever. So my sister found this out from a friend of hers who sent her daughter to stay there for a week. And this was 6 months ago. And the daughter has been straighter than a fucking arrow ever since then. Grades are well. She cleans her room. She listens to mom. Now, she's not perfect, of course. There's a little bit of kid action where, they go a little crazy, but nowhere near to what she used to be before, how wild she was. Single mother, of course. But, yeah, she said the kid's been doing really well. And not just
being home so many days, not to mention it's colder than shit outside, so there's not really them getting out and, you know what I mean? Like today, when I got up for work, I lost feeling in my hands pumping gas because it was like -8.
why would you pump gas today?
Because I needed to fucking finish getting to work.
Dude, I take a look at the week. As soon as I see that it's gonna get cold, I fucking fill up. Grocery
as far
shop.
as I drive to work, though, I gotta fill up like every 2.5 days.
Better carry a fucking, what do they call those? 40-gallon drums.
It's gonna be cold for 2 weeks. I'm gonna have to fill up 4 or 5 times when it's this cold. So
I forget that not everybody works 5 minutes away and drives a Honda Civic like me.
Don't.
Uh, but the kid, the more important part about all this is that the kid is happier than ever, which makes a lot of fucking sense because when kids have discipline in their life, when they have authority, they feel safe, they have purpose, and it's a wonderful thing. And so yeah, maybe you should check something out like that. I mean, if your kids are that terrible.
Never. It's just they've been cooped up, and they've been around each other without break for so long.
But today, we
And
actually
normally during the summer, I take them out, I do shit with them. They go to the park, they run around. You know what I mean? There ain't no doing that when it's fucking -5 out. You know what I mean?
my kid's the opposite. He wants to stay home all the fucking time. He don't want to touch grass at all.
I make my kids because when they don't get no exercise, they're you know what I mean? I know how they get. I keep asking, can we go to the park? I'm like, well, last week it was warm and I was like, bro, it's fucking a lake at the park. No, I don't want to take you to the fucking park because you're gonna get that shit all over my house.
Yeah, I don't know. I can't relate, bro. My kid, I mean, I raised my voice and he's, you know, fixes himself. So I can't, maybe if I had another kid, it'd be worse.
Yeah, when it's only one kid, there's never any issues because they don't have anybody to fight with.
I mean, sometimes he runs around and acts crazy and shit, but that's.
No, if you remove the other kid for a month at a time, I don't have any issues when there's only one because they have no one to bicker with. You know what I mean?
Henry, the chat is open, bro, so you can hop on the PlayStation and join us whenever you like, FYI. But we will get started, and people can catch the replay if they catch the replay at all. It'll be us three for now. But today, oh man, we are going to be talking about the Xbox fiasco. RIP Brett, fucking pussy. What was the other thing? Oh, the Nintendo Switch leaks, which I actually want to talk to you about.
What, did he leave or what?
No, I don't know, but he's always defending Xbox. Can't see that the Series S is a piece of shit. And not just that, and I also want to read some comments that I got in some of my videos. Actually, in my recent video where I talked about the Xbox, and you will be surprised at the information that people believe. So we'll talk about that. We'll talk about the Nintendo Switch. The leaks have been going on out there. The people have been running the serial numbers for the controllers. What are they called? The replaceable controller thingies. The Joy-Cons. People have ran the serial number to Nintendo's database, and Nintendo recognizes them as an official piece of hardware. They changed the numbers, and Nintendo doesn't recognize it anymore. So that's huge. And then we'll probably top it off, or we can talk about it whenever Nelson likes. Nelson wanted to do top 10. We've been doing a lot of top of the year things, but he says we didn't really number them. We just threw them out there. So we will do our top 10.
A couple because we had retro on, so we ended up having a lot more to talk about. So
we'll do that as well. Get our top 10s in, and I think that should be about it. Once again, here we talk about what we got to talk about, and then we keep it moving.
If you didn't see Doomsayer's podcast this week, I highly encourage you to watch that later, not now.
I thought Doomsayer shut down his shit.
He has one once in a while. It's called like Shooting the Shit or something.
Or maybe he shut down.
Listen to it today at work.
The Sunday one.
It was fucking phenomenal. He does it whenever he wants now. Like he's got kids and all that shit too. So
we all got kids. Yeah, Dune. I like Doom. I was on his podcast long time ago now, almost 2 years ago.
I used to be on his panel.
He never invited me. That's where I met you. If you were a kid, you'd be so easy to fucking kidnap, dude. It's embarrassing. All I had to do was say how I like Mega Man, and you fucking message me, talk about Mega Man. That's all it took. You're lucky I'm not a diddler. Otherwise, I'm like, hey, dude, I got fucking Mega Man for fucking Super Nintendo First Edition that you can have for free if you come visit me in my basement. You'd be like, okay,
Yeah, no, I wouldn't have been hard at all.
I got an autograph game signed by the Mega Man. It's sitting on my lap.
All you would have had to say is, I have lots of Super Nintendo games, and you can come over and borrow them anytime you want. I would have been in the basement, fucking in the cellar.
It's right
Especially
here.
if you live close, because I used to get on my bike and ride 8 miles to borrow one game for a couple days. You know what I mean? Especially summertime. My parents would have never seen me again.
The joys of being a kid. Well, that's another thing I wanted to talk about too today. Well, we'll get started with that actually, since we're talking about Mega Man, Super Nintendo, and shit. And what I told Nelson was is retro gaming better than modern gaming? That was the question. Now that's kind of a loaded question, but you know, nostalgia in our minds is a hell of a drug, right?
I think people, yeah, what do you call it? Developers were more passionate back then. I think a lot of people are in it for the wrong reasons now.
Well, now it's an actual, you know, full blown business. I mean, not that it never was, but now we're talking hundreds of.
It's always been a way to make a living, but
but now it's astronomical levels of money.
A lot of it's using what do you want to call it? Media to, you know what I mean?
Well, that has to do with the internet too. You know, we have accessibility, but I mean, they weren't making $100 billion in the gaming industry back in '97. They just weren't.
They weren't spending that kind of money either. I mean,
no, they
honestly,
weren't. They were still making billions.
Like 95% of games don't make a profit.
They were still making a killing. I mean, I say
the
all
ones
the time.
That were successful. That's the thing. That's why I think PlayStation published like 300 games. Because, fuck, you get like 10, 15 hitters can pay for all those losses, you know what I mean? Because it's like, oh, you need 300K? Like, what's fucking 300K? You know what I mean? 500K?
Well, and then money was worth different, too, so the numbers didn't have to really be there. But look.
Still, 500K, $1 million today. That $1 million for a game? Like, I'd make all kinds of risks.
But it doesn't it doesn't fucking matter because the gaming industry not only has thrived, it has grown to biblical proportions in the last fucking 30 years. So even though 99% of games fucking fail, it doesn't fucking matter. They're still putting out more games than ever, and the cost is still increasing year over year. So no matter what we fucking think, what's a loser, what's a fucking winner, the point is that people are coming into this business. People are making a shit ton of fucking money. And mind you, you don't necessarily have to release a video game. You can contract yourself out to any of these fucking publishers, any of these developers, charge a pretty penny to be involved with their project and make a living that way. Or, like I said in my the Wukong Xbox video, the guy who was part of the PlayStation version of Spider-Man back in the PS2 era, who was in charge of the physics of the swings, he now works in his basement by himself in his house in Washington making games for Nintendo. And he releases 2, 3, 4 games per year. And he makes enough to pay his fucking mortgage, pay his bills, get health insurance, the whole 9 yards. And that was part of the video where I said that's the difference between Xbox, PlayStation, Nintendo, is that PlayStation, Nintendo not only worry about the quality of their product and accessibility to gamers, but also a platform for developers to make games, right? That was the reason Mike Cerny came on board after the PS3, is to make these consoles easy for developers to work on and make games, which is something that Xbox has completely fucking forgotten about this generation, and then they're wondering why
how much even 3 months, a game taking 3 months or 6 months longer, that's fucking like tens of millions of dollars, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
it ain't chump change when you got all those people to pay for all that overhead.
And people don't realize
employees, buildings, all that shit.
That these developers, they're fucking computer science. They're, computer engineers. They're software engineers. Like these people are fucking, they're learned. You know what I mean? Like they are professionals. So their salary that they demand is not cheap. I mean, sure, different regions of the country, different regions of the world are going to vary, but when it comes down to it, these people are going to demand a pretty penny as a salary plus benefits plus PTO plus all the perks plus the fucking Starbucks in the cafeteria plus
All your licenses and certifications and fucking
all sorts of shit. But we'll get into that. But so the
your
question
4090 electrical power is probably 20 grand a year as it is.
is retro gaming better than modern gaming? Nelson said that. What was it that you said? The
I think
intention,
they were more I think there
more
was more
passionate.
passionate people that made games versus now it's a lot of people's way into what the hell is the word I'm looking for here. If you can't make it movies or this or that or television, it's a way to people want to share their fucking, whatever it is that they're into, their politics or their sexuality or their fucking whatever. You know what I mean?
I think that if I can take video games of all time and kind of combine it to make my perfect era of gaming, it would be the skill, the talent, and the vision of retro video game developers with the modern era funding and capabilities. That should answer the question of what I think about retro gaming. Because look, let's be real. I've been collecting more and more retro games, and a lot of these games look like fucking shit. They play like shit. They look like shit, including your favorite fucking game. And by you, I don't mean you, Nelson. I mean like you, whoever's listening. Your favorite fucking game. I dare you, if you don't have it, go out there, buy it if it's affordable, and play that fucker. I guarantee you're gonna be like, what the fuck is this? Now I make fun of Nelson all the time for liking, the 16-bit games and shit like that. But a lot of these games on PlayStation 1, you can literally count every single fucking, what do you call those, squares on the screen? Whatever.
Pixels?
Pixels. You can count them out individually in the fucking screen. I mean, just terrible. And that's not even including the controls. Jesus Christ. Even as far back as like the 360, I've been playing a little bit of Ace Combat 6 on the Series X. And just the controls, man, feel different. So we all have it in our mind that retro gaming's
People
the
always
shit.
give me shit because I love remasters and remakes. And people are like, "Oh, on the Xbox Series X, it can up res and all that." I'm like, that don't make
That's not the same.
That's not the same because the controls still suck, and you can make a PS1 game 8K. It's still gonna look like a PS1. It actually looks worse because you can see all the shit wrong with it.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
The problem isn't the remake and remasters themselves, is the type of games that remake and remasters. Like my problem with PlayStation is they're remaking fucking games from 5 years ago. That's my fucking problem. Like we shouldn't be, if you're going to dig into the PS4 to remake something, then dig into the early PS4, 2013, 14, 15. Anything over 16 is going to look pretty fucking modern. What did Henry said here? Retro hits for the people who are specifically into that. Nobody's jumping from current to retro and staying there just for being mad about the current state of exactly. Let's be real. The visuals that we are seeing now, and I say this all the time, are the visuals that we've always dreamt of as a kid, right? It's what we thought shit looked like back then, but it never really fucking did. But we always knew that eventually shit's gonna get better. So whenever the PS1 went to PS2, or Nintendo 64 went to GameCube, or Sega went to the Dreamcast, we were like, holy shit, this is a jump.
WWF games, when The Rock would come on, I was like, man, graphics ain't never going to get better than this fucking head square. The only way you could tell was by his fucking eyebrows that it was even The Rock, but,
And then you jump a generation and, oh shit, the graphics got better. And then in the back of your mind, you're thinking, damn, if the PS2 looks like this, I can't wait for the PS3 or the Xbox 360. Then those came out and you're like, holy shit, this looks amazing. I can't wait for the PS4, Xbox One. Then those came out and you're like, oh, okay, the jump is pretty good. But, okay, now we're talking about diminishing returns. And that was my thing with, was it Horizon? One of these fucking games I got an argument with Thrifty about. It's just diminishing. Oh, the PS5 Pro. It was diminishing returns at this point with visuals.
Generation for a long time. I don't think we're going to have the massive upgrades before. It's going to be more performance than anything.
Yeah, performance. Henry says, I foot dip and
It's
play
like
certain.
TVs, like 480 to 720, massive difference. 720 to 1080, massive difference. 1080 to 4K, even less of a difference. Even though it's like 1080p more, the difference between 720 and 1080 is a bigger difference to me than 1080 to fucking 4K. But you know what I mean? You start to get so good that it's gonna take a lot more. You know what I'm saying? Like
I see the
several more
difference
intervals.
between 1080p and 4K. I see the difference being more crisper, more. It's like putting glasses on. Henry says, I foot dip and play certain shit like Mimish Cap and Mega Man X, etc. But I'm not solely playing that stuff again, no sir. Then he says, yeah, it's gonna be a performance and possibly smarter AI in the games. The visuals probably are topped out for now. I still think there's improvement
I
for
don't. There is, but it's gonna be
minimal.
less.
Like, what was the game somebody questioned me on? Rise of Ronin. I was playing a little bit of Rise of Ronin last week to see if I can get into it, and I still can't. I don't know. So I don't like the combat in that game. But visually, you can tell the game needs a lot of improvement, right? A lot. Like it's not as crisp or as good of a visuals as like a Horizon or something like that. And not every game is
A
that
similar
way.
game type, and that game's older, but
And it's not. I mean, even if we go like a couple years back, like Ghost of Tsushima or like The Last of Us Part Two, like these games visually look great. That's why people were bitching about what's that one remake or remaster that PlayStation came out with? That scary game.
Dawn, yeah, it looks
Until
worse at
Dawn.
some points.
Yeah, it looks worse at some points. I mean, you can tell there's definitely been an improvement, but like
They should have just remastered that and fucking charged $10. But
like
I think the only reason they remade that was because that studio was new, and that was like their test to see. Because if you know anything about that studio, they've worked with a different engine on every game they've made. It's that was the name of that studio. It's people that left that studio though, and instead of them like PlayStation giving them a fucking $100 million to make their own project, they wanted to see if they could, do a remake and shit like that while they're building up their team, and it didn't turn out, so they had to lay off people, and they probably ain't gonna greenlight a fucking new game for them. That's my guess.
that's and yeah, and that's a waste. I mean,
It is, but would you rather give them 100 million and then it turned out like shit, or give them 20 million and
no,
you know what I mean?
what you do is, which is what any business would normally do is you take a couple senior experienced people from a couple studios, you hand them the assignment to go over to that new studio and get them up to par. I mean, these people at the end of the day, they're
But
developers.
the
You can afford a couple people from each studio. If you got 20 fucking studios, you can afford one or two people from there that are single, have no family, that can go away on business for a couple weeks. Come
it
home
takes
for a
longer
couple
than a couple weeks
weeks.
to make
Go,
games.
but yeah, you rotate them. There's ways. I mean, dude, I just got a bash of like 15 new employees. They're all supposed to be part of one department.
Super massive.
But I'm not going to just let them be on their own. No, I'm gonna fucking grab a couple that look capable, that have been ahead of the game so far, and I'm gonna assign them as kind of like the new group leaders, while I have a couple of the experienced people in there working with them, and I rotate them out. But there's ways
Yeah,
of
you can't just
managing the
rotate
shit.
developers on a game. It's a lot different when you're doing a creative
Who the
process.
fuck said that? And I'm
Me.
not saying they're working on a brand new game. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying they're helping.
Oh
Remember,
yeah.
the whole point, what was Bungie's, when Bungie got sold to PlayStation, they wanted what mainly? The experience. They've do the same. They could do the same thing with new studios that have a whole bunch of new people. You attach them to current studios that are working on something so they can learn the ropes. It's not that complicated. But at the end of the day, they still made games before. You can easily make a fucking indie out of that cost you 500,000 to make or $1 million. And like Redacted, that game didn't cost much to fucking make, a couple $1 million, and they made their money back. And it hasn't even been promoted like that. There's ways of doing it. There's different levels to doing things, but that just goes back to the conversation I had. Maybe was it last week or no, you weren't there last week. A couple of weeks ago, where the video game industry just doesn't know how to manage. They just don't know how to manage. For them, is either all in or all out, and that's not how you do things. Especially with projects and video games that take years for them to finish something and put it out there and make some fucking money. Like all these studios out here, they're still relying on, or they're still working off the money they made from their last game. They're just budgeting that shit. So if they made fucking $200 million profit, then they're dividing up that money so it lasts them throughout the duration of the build of this new game. And a lot of them do a terrible job at budgeting. So then you see them go out there and trying to get fucking publishing deals to secure the funds to keep people working and complete the fucking game. Right? So we see that happen all the time.
Well, if someone published your shit, you're only going to get a small cut of that, so you probably only got 20 million.
Well, it depends on the budget, on the publishing deal you do, you know. It all depends. Some people want a big fucking handful of money. Some people just want a little bit. So, you know, it just depends on the deal you can work out. It depends on where you're at in the publishing schedule, too. I mean, if you're at the very end and you just need a little bit more to finish up, you know, you're not going to give up as much. But if you're just starting out or you're a fucking crowdfunding stage, of course, you're going to be giving up a lot to make it happen. But that's not my fucking problem. That's their problem to deal with. You know what I mean? This industry is the best will survive. And I don't even know how we got here to this point, but diminishing returns is definitely a thing. But I will reiterate that the video game industry just doesn't know how to manage money, don't know how to manage employees, don't know how to manage the projects that they're currently working on. But with retro gaming, it was way easier back then to fuck up and rebound than it is now. Now, you fuck up.
You come out with a new game in fucking 12 months with a handful of people.
Exactly. I mean,
now you fuck up. You got to wait 5 years to try and redeem yourself. And now you're in the hole, whatever, million, hundred, tens of millions. And then, you know, hopefully you don't fuck up the next one because there ain't going to be no return on investment for another fucking 4, 5, 6 years. That's a long fucking time.
Well, and then you include their personal politics or personal beliefs in that. So throughout the whole development cycle, you're fucking shooting yourself in the foot multiple times. So by the time your fucking game is ready, not only are you over budget, the morale with gamers is extremely low. You have a lot of bad press. And instead of people looking at your game favorably, now they're going to be looking at anything to nitpick because you've just been a shitty fucking person this whole time. But man, back then they did the whole Gears of War trilogy in 5 years? Mass Effect trilogy in 5, 6 years? They were just pumping these games out, and these games were games that changed video games forever. You know what I'm saying? Mass Effect, Gears of War, Super Mario, you know, games like that. So to answer the question I asked earlier, is retro gaming better than modern gaming? Yes and no. Yes, they had the vision, they had the ideas, they had the gameplay, but no, in the sense that
they didn't have the hardware.
The hardware, yeah, they don't have the technology, they don't have the engines we have now, they don't, the marketing, the internet, how it's used. I mean, right now you can Google fucking Nintendo leaks and you'll see 100
Final
different.
Fantasy VII was the biggest game ever made at the time, and they did that. That's a massive team. 100 people was a fucking that's a decent sized team now, but they did that in 1 year. And that was state of the art, fucking 10 times more expensive than any other game ever made. Fucking hands down. They did that in 1 year. That's fucking crazy.
Yeah, Henry's right. They had the vision, but not the tech. Yep. Yeah, so it sucks. It sucks. But continuing on, because this kind of relates as well, is Xbox. Right? So the director of Wukong, the Game Science, which is a studio, was doing a blog style kind of interview with his gamers, and it came out that 10 gigs of memory or RAM was not enough for his experience in making games, and it would take a couple years to be able to get that game to run on the Series S. And that created a whirlwind because people have been accusing PlayStation of money hiding and having some sort of secret exclusion deal with Wukong with no evidence whatsoever, right? Just because
Which
a
we knew was
journalist.
bullshit from the start, because if they were, especially being a big gateway to China, they would have been fucking shouting from the fucking mountaintops.
And all you have to do
They
is
don't
look.
spend money on shit and not market it. They didn't even put it in one of their shows. Like, man,
Yes.
that was a non-thing. Like they're not gonna spend money on something or give resources to something and not get something out of it. It's a
And
business.
we have known from the beginning of PlayStation 30-year anniversary, since the beginning, PlayStation has been doing third-party deals to supplement their first-party stuff. It's been going on forever. And every single one of those third-party deals or second-party deals, PlayStation has promoted no matter what. There's never been not one time that I looked and did not find, not one time that PlayStation did some sort of exclusive or marketing deal that they didn't try to promote to the full
They just have marketing. They put fucking marketing in their. They put it in their shows.
Well,
like it's not a debate. Like
another topic was
crazy.
Well, PlayStation they just didn't want to promote it because of the controversy with Wukong. Well, first off, the controversy was a made-up controversy, which there wasn't women in the fucking game. That's number one. Number two,
that came out later. That came out after too.
Yeah, after. In 2023, which AAA game would you say had the most controversy of 2023? You remember? Or one of the games?
Dragon Veilguard.
No, that's 2024. Hogwarts Legacy.
Oh yeah.
Was one of the games that was controversial. Not because of anything the fucking game did, but because of J.K. Rowling, the creator of fucking Harry Potter. And even that didn't stop PlayStation from promoting the fuck out of Hogwarts Legacy because they had that marketing deal. Not just did they have the marketing deal, they also had an exclusive to a mission. And PlayStation promoted the fuck out of that to the point where they even sold a few million extra PlayStation 5s just because people thought that you could only play that game on PlayStation when it was a third-party game multi-platform. But that's how strong the marketing was with that game. So even in the heat of the moment, in the heat of controversy, PlayStation didn't give a fuck. They said, we're going to get our money's worth. So even if something like that, this bullshit made up controversy with Wukong is nothing. Now, let me read a comment to you guys that somebody said on my video, and I want you guys to answer to me. Because when I read this originally, I posted on the Discord, but of course, nobody's going to fucking read that shit because you guys don't. But here is the comment. And this is on my video. Once again, the real reason Black Myth Wukong is not on Xbox. Obscure Fair, shout out to you, says, so a few points and counter arguments. Take, for example, Final Fantasy 16, Forspoken, Street Fighter 5. All these games claimed issues with the Series S, but later leaks revealed a time exclusivity deal with Sony was the actual cause. I'll stop
Those
there.
Came out on the Xbox One for one.
But Final Fantasy 16 and Forspoken, we knew those were exclusive on PlayStation for at least a year. We already knew that. So that
was very clear.
That was very, very fucking clear.
Street Fighter 5 came out on fucking PS4, so like mid-gen. Like, and we know why that was exclusive on PlayStation is because Capcom at the time was damn near bankrupt, and PlayStation offered to pay for a share of that game to get made because they were going broke. They were hurting bad.
Now,
and obviously they want something out of that, so they got an exclusive. Otherwise, the game wouldn't have got made at all.
Now, I don't know Obscure Fair. I don't know if he's an Xbox guy, a PlayStation guy, or what. But just by that, and by the way, there's still a lot more that we're going to go through here. But just by that first fucking sentence here, I can tell that he has been listening to unreliable information. Because if he would have listened to anybody and used any logic whatsoever, you would have known that Final Fantasy 16 and Forspoken were exclusives to PlayStation from the get-go. I don't know about Street Fighter 5 because I didn't really play Street Fighter 5.
The first time they were shown, PlayStation exclusive, blah, 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 big ass goddamn banner across. You can't miss it.
Another thing that I can't confirm in this first part that I read is he says These games claimed issues with the Series S, but later leaks reveal, okay, that doesn't matter. But what I'm trying to get to here is he says these games claimed issues with the Series S. I cannot confirm that either. I don't know if these games said that at all. Do you recollect if these games said that there was issue porting the game to the Series S? Nelson,
What'd you say?
did you hear anything about Forspoken or Final Fantasy 16 having issues being ported to the Series S?
They weren't being made for them, so why the hell would they say
Forspoken
anything
later,
about?
but later came out for, or was supposed to come out, right? Didn't it come out for Xbox? Or it never did? Because the studio got shut down. So it's Forspoken on Xbox right now. I'm Googling it.
Yeah, you'd have to look.
Yeah, so Forspoken is on Xbox and it came out a year later. So, irrelevant, right? Irrelevant. So, yeah, that just tells you right then and there that people who, like Brett, who keep trying to say that it's not a Series S problem, it's a freaking developer problem, is completely fucking wrong. Moving on. He says, Game Science, by the way, Game Science is the people that make Wukong. Public comments about the Xbox Series S being a limiting factor only surfaced after significant PlayStation marketing pushes. Timing suggests that these criticisms might have some lies to them. Once again, talking about a made up marketing deal that PlayStation had with fucking Wukong. So that's irrelevant. He continues. While the Series S has hardware constraints, the Series X has superior capabilities compared to the PS5. Did you hear that, Nelson?
Yeah.
I told him on paper it shows S is superior to the PS5. But in actuality, we know that the PS5 is not weaker than the Series X. So much so that Xbox stopped using the tagline "Eats," what was it? "Eats monsters for breakfast."
That and their own game, a lot of their own games run better on PlayStation too.
On PlayStation.
And they weren't made with PlayStation even in mind, which I find funny.
If Game Science generally faced hardware challenges, it is highly unlikely Xbox would have forced them to release the game simultaneously on both Series S and X, as there is plenty of examples game having staggered releases or, like you mentioned, features being delayed or cut, like Baldur's Gate 3 split screen, in order for the release to happen. What? What the fuck are you talking about? Now I'm getting pissed off, Obscure Fair. What other games have gotten a fucking pat in the ass and said, hey, you can release your game even though it's not compatible with the S and the X how we want it to be? Which, by the way, is that rule that has been fucking the Series X owners.
On Series X, I would fucking really hate these fucking Series S owners because they're fucking up my experiences. I'd be missing on a game like I paid $500, and because you cocksuckers, I'm losing games and getting delayed, and people not wanting to develop for my platform because of you.
And this is what he says immediately after, which I find hilarious. Why not have it solely on a Series X and PC release? I'm 100% sure Xbox would agree to it if it was their genuine struggle. Bro, Xbox sent their fucking people over to Larian Studios for how many fucking months to try to get this to Baldur's Gate 3 to work on the Series S, and they still couldn't fucking figure it out. And
they had to cut out a feature. And you know what's funny? Halo, for the first time ever, even being cross-gen, doesn't have split screen or a co-op split screen now. Why do you think that is? I'll let you guess.
What's up, Crash Zero?
They're having split screen issues on a lot of games because it just doesn't have the memory to do it.
This is just extremely fucking ignorant. This guy obviously doesn't know what the hell he's talking about. Then he goes into Sony's China Hero project, specifically targets promising Chinese developers to bring their games to PlayStation. While Game Science isn't officially part of this program, Sony's active involvement in the Chinese gaming scene, including financial backing and technical support for developers, makes it likely that they've offered incentives to game science. Once again, no fucking data, no facts, just I believe. Also, there are plenty of examples of PlayStation money hiding games away from other consoles, either exclusively or impacting multi-platform releases. A few examples: Final Fantasy VII Remake, Deathloop, Ghostwire Tokyo, Kena Bridge of Spirits, Kingdom Hearts 3, Street Fighter V. While most have eventually came to other consoles, some like Final Fantasy VII Remake are in limbo. Probably the exclusivity deal applies to all chapters, hence why massive delay. Dude said PlayStation money had it Deathloop and Ghostwire Tokyo. Made by studios owned by Xbox. Okay.
They did get those exclusive.
Yeah, they did get those exclusive. But he's saying that PlayStation money had it them, hence why they didn't come out on Xbox earlier. Yes,
they probably wouldn't have gotten made if PlayStation didn't get those exclusive deals either, because
yes,
I mean,
Crasher.
both those games flopped anyways, regardless.
Yes, Crasher0414. That's exactly what PlayStation does, and Nintendo and Xbox. They pay developers to keep their games exclusive. That's why it's called an exclusivity deal. This isn't anything new. It's been happening on PlayStation.
Xbox. Like,
that's what
all their
exactly.
best games are from fucking second, third party.
Halo.
They didn't make that shit other than Halo. Even Gears. No. Gears was supposed to be on PlayStation.
They didn't make Halo. What the fuck are you talking about? Bungie did Halo.
That was already in development, but
that was a third party deal. Fable, third party deal. Gears, third party deal. All of Xbox greatest hits are third party deals, except for Flight Simulator, which I am unsure of. Yeah, Forza. But everything that's made Xbox great was because of a third-party deal that they did and eventually bought out. Gears, by the time Gears 3 ended, Xbox went ahead and bought the IP from Epic. Fable, who will they buy it from? Lionsgate?
Lionsgate right before Fable 2 released.
Right before Fable 2 released, they bought it from Lionsgate. And
then they owned them, and then 3 came out, and that sucked.
Yes. And Halo, same thing. We got it from Bungie. And then once Bungie didn't want to make Halo anymore, they wanted to leave Xbox. Xbox said, great, we'll buy you out, but we want to keep the Halo IP. Bungie's like, great, here you go. You can have it. And look what they did with Halo 4 and Halo 5 and Halo Infinite for that. So this isn't anything new, guys. There's been exclusive deals, and exclusivity has built these console makers to the heights.
Wake. I mean, everyone talks about how great the 360 was. It was all based off of fucking
third party,
second party, and third party deals.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean, we have it right here. Freaking
KOTOR, fucking what do you want to call it? Fable, Alan Wake, Crackdown,
Sunset Overdrive, freaking Quake,
Sunset Overdrive.
Perfect Dark, Gears, Fable, Halo. I mean, all these are third-party, IP that Xbox, Splinter Cell, Mass Effect. I mean, the list just goes on and on. Lost Odyssey.
Project
What's the other one?
Racing, Blue Dragon,
Infinite Undiscovered, The Witcher 3,
Witcher 2,
or Witcher 2. I mean, Witcher 2. That was an exclusive.
Morrowind.
So, in a question that me and Nelson have spoken about, I mean, we all have spoken about, right? Nelson, the fact of why hasn't Xbox been as aggressive with third-party exclusivity deals? Why is that?
Nobody buys their shit.
Nobody buys their shit. So if Xbox wants an exclusive deal, they got to pay out the fucking ass. Let's continue with this comment before we move on. Think of it logically, he says, and from past, if Xbox is claiming that there isn't hardware issues and alluding to exclusivity deals, why would they need to lie?
Why would their games keep releasing at 30 FPS and then have the fucking be patched up later?
Not only has Xbox lied, not only have they lied, but they have also misled you. One of the biggest misleadments that Phil Spencer has done this generation is 2 years ago on the Kind of Funny podcast when he said exclusivity does not sell consoles. Or what was the quote? Was it something like that, Nelson? Exclusive games won't help Xbox.
Great games don't sell aren't gonna change anything.
That is just ridiculous. Ridiculous. That is the dumbest statement, but he misled people with that because what is he promoting? Game Pass, game everywhere, game where you're at. It doesn't matter what console you have because that is their vision for the future. So of course he's going to say that exclusivity is bad because the way they're going, they don't want exclusivity. What's up, Tool Man? How you doing, Hero? Thank you for stopping through, man. This is an Xbox. Thank you, Crash Zero. And look,
this is my ass. This is an Xbox.
Me and my and something that I'm gonna make a video on YouTube. So you guys that are here right now are getting the 411 on it. I approached my son a couple days ago at the beginning of the year, and I said, "Son, you know that I collect games, right? How about you join me in this collection thing? Let's pick out a console together, a retro console together, and let's start collecting games for that. And maybe once a month, we will pick out a game together, or you pick one and I pick one, and then we'll build our collection that way. That way we can start fresh with one console that is both of ours."
Don't do Dreamcast.
I'm not going to do Dreamcast.
I can't afford fucking games for that.
I wanted to do the Dreamcast originally, but it's too expensive. But
it is fucking
my
crazy.
son is between the Super Nintendo and the Xbox 360. And I think he's leaning more towards the 360 because it still has some sort of modern graphics and some sort of modern gameplay. But the kid
Super
in me,
Nintendo games, gameplay wise, holds up better than PS1 or 2.
Oh, so do I. Absolutely. That's what I want to go with. I want to go with a Super Nintendo. Now, I'm talking to
Plus 360 games, most of the ones worth playing, you can just play on your fucking Xbox now.
Xbox. Well, the reason I'm thinking about it is because, for example, I got Quake 4. That is not backwards compatible on the Series X, so I can only play it on the 360. What was the other one that I purchased? I forget. But anyways, I'm talking to my mom and pop shop, my local shop, and I was talking to the owner, and he said, well, if you buy both consoles, I'll give you a great deal. So just doing the math over here, if I buy a Series Xbox 360 and a Super Nintendo, I can walk out with both for about $200, which is a pretty good deal. Super Nintendo selling individually for about $150, $160. And Xbox 360, you can find them anywhere from $80 to $200. But I like Xbox. This is my first Xbox I've ever had. It's not that I like the Xbox, I like the games that you can only play on Xbox in the past, and that's what I want to do. Quake 4 has a bonus disc, which I really wanted to check out.
For Knights of the Old Republic and Witcher 2.
Yeah.
An Xbox One. I bought it to play OG Xbox games and 360 games.
Yep. But look, when people...
There wasn't really nothing else to play on there, so...
Bill is saying exclusives don't sell, and look at me and my son over here, fucking how many years after the 360, thinking about getting a 360 so we can play games you can only play on a fucking 360. And you're telling me exclusives don't fucking sell consoles? We're talking about 2 generations ago, and I'm thinking about buying a console just to play games on there that I can't play now. What the hell do you mean exclusives don't sell consoles?
What's the number one number one feature Xbox fans always talk about? That's the best thing about Xbox Series X. I can play 360 and OG Xbox games on it.
No, you can't. Well, you can, but
some of them, select titles.
Yeah,
but that's literally the best thing about it. I mean, that's the only reason I kind of want one.
Yeah, that's it, bro. That's it. But I cannot, and I'm pissed off about Quake 4 because I just picked up a copy and it's mint, man. And it has the bonus disc, which from my understanding, the bonus disc is missing a lot of the times. But yeah, I mean, and in our next topic, we're going to talk about our top 10 games of 2024. And I was telling Nelson that I only played 11 games, or I finished 11 games that came out in 2024, because I'm not going to put it in my ratings if I haven't beat the game, right? I'm not like one of these journalists who only plays a couple hours and now writes a whole fucking article about how much the game sucks or how good it is, right? I'm not that type. So I'm only going to talk about the games that I've played. But looking at what I played from Xbox, it's not much this year. Last year, it's not much either. There's a reason I only have 400 hours in my wrap up from Xbox. Now, if you play your third-party games on Xbox, of course you're gonna
Elite
be.
Xbox player though.
Well, that does make me an elite player. That's for sure. I'm in the top 10%. But let's continue on with this guy here real quick because I find this very, very entertaining. He says, think of it logically and from the past. If Xbox is claiming that there isn't a hardware issue and alluding to exclusivity deals, why would they need to lie? Well, we just spoke about that. They have more titles releasing on their platform than any other system has. Their strategy has completely changed as well. So lying about a Series S hardware limitation is pointless. And their examples.
You know what else was exclusive and that was marketed as such? Indiana Jones.
Fable. All these games are.
Outer Worlds 2. That was marketed as exclusive too. Is that exclusive no more?
Not anymore. And we're gonna get back to that. And he said examples of similar where they haven't excused exclusivity deals being the cost of the main one being Baldur's Gate 3. If your logic is they're lying because big game Wukong not on our system, Baldur's Gate 3 was vastly more popular, so why not lie about the game having issues? And again, but we know that they had issues. We literally know that Xbox sent some other people to help Larian Studios port Baldur's Gate to the Series S. We know that. And at the end, they couldn't do it. So they took out some features, which is the split screen co-op, and that is not available on the Series S today. They're not the first ones to say this. There has been numerous of other developers saying the same thing. The Xbox Series S is holding us back. And instead of Xbox doing the right thing, you know what? Port what you can port over on the Series X, which will 99.999% of the time will be exactly what PC and PlayStation 5 gamers get. But on the Series S, you have to make cuts. They will not do that. And that is Xbox problem. At this point, now it's not Xbox problem. Sure, you can make an argument that these developers suck at what they do and they can't pour shit over.
It's not that you can't make something for whatever. It's time, money, and resources though. It's like, why do games come to Switch usually a year, 2 years, 3 years down the road? Why? Because they got to put a lot of fucking effort into cutting that bitch down to size to get it to run on the fucking Switch. It's not that it can't be done. It's a lot of fucking work and time, and people don't have infinite time, resources, people, fucking, you know what I mean?
Well, it's all
money.
They can't in the sense of on release date. You know what I mean? They can't when everything else is releasing. But you're absolutely right. They don't have unlimited time and resources like Nelson said. But they can't do it right then and there because
something like Madden was on fucking PS2 till damn near the PS4 came out. You know what? They can afford it.
They can afford it.
They got thousands of people, fucking all kinds of money. They can do it. Most people can't. Or it's not worth it to them. If you're not Madden or COD or fucking, you know what I mean? Most of them, it's like, especially for Xbox, it's like, how many people are we making this for? We're going to go through all this work for what? For, you know what I mean?
And the very last thing.
100,000 copies, maybe? 50,000? What?
And the very last thing he says here, which just makes me understand that he is not paying attention at all to what Xbox and Phil Spencer and Sarah Bond have been telling the people. He says, if the developer came to Xbox and said, look, we can release on the Series X at launch and your PC storefront, but currently our capabilities will take at least 2 to 3 years to get parity, I definitely think Xbox would make that deal. Any other reason makes no sense for business. This dude is not listening to anything Xbox has to say, or Phil Spencer, or none of the people in charge. What he is listening to is these YouTubers and people who don't know what the fuck they're talking about and is believing them. Because Xbox has told you numerous times that they will not accept the game if it is not compatible on the Series S and the Series X. And only the high-profile game like Baldur's Gate has gotten the exception. Why? Because Baldur's Gate sold a fucking boatload of games and they didn't want to miss out. And guess what? They still missed out because the game didn't come over up until 3 months fucking later. Everybody knows that the first day of release is where you're going to get the majority of sales. Then it's the first week. After the first month, sales take a deep dive down. It is not common for games to continue climbing the ladder in sales. That just doesn't happen. Look at Alan Wake. It's been out for a year and a half and they just broke even. They just broke even. They made 60-70% of their money in the first fucking week, and the rest of the 30-40% took them a year and a half to get just to break even, not even make money. This isn't like movies where you put them on the theater, you make your money. Then you put them out on fucking DVD, Blu-ray back in the day, you make your money. Then you put it on HBO, Cinemax or something like that, and then you make your money that way as well. So you double dip 3 different times. Video games are not like that. Once you release them, they are out in the world. How many more times do they have to tell you that the Series S is a problem? Not just from developers, not just from the gamers, but everybody. Let me catch up with some of these comments here.
How many of like Xbox's own games would have probably came out 6 months earlier, 12 months earlier, or fucking, you know what I mean?
Who knows?
Or came out at 60 FPS. You know what I mean?
Who knows?
Quite a bit, I bet you. I bet you it's costing them a fucking bundle.
Hero Down Under says, none of the journalists challenge or even challenge him, so they are all complicit. Don't blame Phil. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely, they are complicit. Remember when this Xbox first came out this generation? They were out here clowning on how they have 3-4 consoles in their garage. Xbox was literally paying these journalists off, and they were getting the best press. I mean, look at G4 and how that turned out because of, I forget her fucking name, Frost, talking about Xbox is gonna eat PlayStation up. That never happened.
She's like, didn't they buy BioWare and shit? Fucking just crazy shit. Like, you're not even paying attention. You're just saying shit now.
RPG says leave Xbox alone. Well, we're not doing anything. We're just reporting on what's been happening. This is Xbox. Xbox needs to leave itself alone. Xbox just needs to tell developers, hey, do what you can do. Do what you do. Xbox needs to go out here and get more fucking exclusives. Cash Zero.
It's too late for them. They know it. That's why games are coming.
Yeah. There ain't shit they can do.
They're trying to milk out the rest of this gen because you don't want to have all these consoles out there that you don't have some type of revenue coming from, because you already took the L on selling the damn thing because they take a heavy loss.
Well, now this is a good one. I'm gonna get back to this one, RPG. But Henry says she said PlayStation was a dead man walk. Oh, that's what it was. But RPG says this is a good question. Rockstar's gonna make a lot of channels shut the fuck down with the S defense. What do you think, Nelson? Do you think GTA 6 will come out on Series S?
I'm sure it will, because they have unlimited resources. They literally have as many developers as fucking PlayStation does in one fucking studio. Well, it's more than one studio, but several studios. But how's it going to run? That's going to be the interesting part. Yeah. And will there be concessions? But Rockstar also has like fucking 5,000 devs. Like PlayStation has like 5,000 devs. I'm not talking about a team. I'm talking about in totality. Total. That's fucking crazy. That's including what do you want to call it? Helper Studio. What the hell's the word? What's the word I'm looking for here? You know, teams that help other teams.
Support studios.
Support studios, yeah, support studios and teams that are just dedicated to helping second party, etc., etc. That's all of their developers. Rockstar has that many. It's fucking insane.
Yeah, I'm gonna agree with Nelson, but the only reason I think it's gonna come out on the Series S, the only reason, is because Xbox has sold way more Series S than Series X. They screwed themselves. That's the only reason I believe so. But if it was like 60-40, where it was 60% Series X and 40% Series S, I think that Rockstar would have been like, look, we'll release it now on the Series X, and the Series S will come out when we do our PC release next year, or something like that. But yeah, Rockstar is a different animal just because of how big it is.
That's one of very few games that every system it comes out onto, you're guaranteed to make hundreds of millions too. So it's one of the few fucking systems that, or games, the juice will actually be worth the squeeze, because Xbox players don't buy shit, but they'll buy that.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I mean, it's a sad thing. And Nelson says
COD, etc., shit like that.
And mind you, even and this is another thing that pisses me off. PS3 had a similar fucking problem. Developers were having a hard time with their fucking system and making games. Even EA was like,
they almost lost Call of Duty. They had to pay them money.
Yeah, or Activision. Yes, they almost
They had
lost
to
it.
compensate them for their fucking all the headache they had to do.
And you know what PlayStation did? They went ahead and got Mark Cerny. They're like, damn, we can never go through this again. And they went ahead and fixed the fucking problem. And this goes back to what we said in the beginning of the podcast is that the difference between PlayStation, Nintendo, and Xbox is that PlayStation and Nintendo made their hardware not only to satisfy gamers, but also satisfy developers. Because there isn't one without the other. You need gamers, you need developers. And if your console is not satisfying the gamer and not satisfying the developer, then you're going to be in the position that Xbox is in. That's why Xbox will love nothing more than for their gamers to just stream their fucking games. That way they don't have to fucking deal with it.
They already tried that. I think that's why they're talking about a handheld now, is because they tried the streaming stick shit, and that wasn't working for them. So they're looking for other means.
You know, it's an insane thing, and I just don't understand the people that are fucking defending it. And look, man, I'm not saying that if you love or enjoy your Series S, that's a fucking problem. I'm not saying that at all. Yes, of course you can play all the games that you want to play on the Series S. I get that. But that does not deny the fact that the Series S is still a fucking problem. Just because you feel like you haven't missed out on games on the Series S doesn't mean that other people aren't missing out games on the Series S. How many fucking people on Xbox?
That's why I think that the Series S might have a lot to do with why fucking like what the hell is that game called? Hellblade 2 has black lines on it and fucking is 30 frames per second and took fucking as many years to make as it is hours long.
Exactly.
I think that's why they put the black bars on in the first place, is to get that bitch to run on that fucking platform.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just sad, man.
Otherwise, that shit would have been just a fuzzy fucking goddamn trolley mess.
It is sad. It's extremely sad, man. When I'm looking at the 360, and mind you, I never owned an Xbox. The Series X is my first Xbox ever. But when I look back and look at the catalog, I'm just thinking, what happened here? What fucking happened, man? Like, imagine if we had the same content or the aggressiveness to get content and game on your console as they did back in the 360 era, as they do now. Imagine how much better the gaming industry would be. It's just insane. It's a what if, wish, coulda, shoulda, woulda type of situation. And Nelson sure is as fuck cooking tonight. And Nelson, anything else you want to talk about the Series S situation?
No, it's fucking a bummer. And I talked to a guy, I don't know, I couldn't verify or whatever, but he said he worked at Microsoft, and he actually offered to put me on his PlayStation or Xbox Game Pass account because he gets 10 free family members, but he didn't know 10 people. He offered to add me to it for free, but I was like, dude, I don't even know you. But one of his friends that worked at Microsoft said that they lost a lot of people who worked on the Series console, the engineers, because there was a lot of infighting about the decision to make the Series S. Like the guy right under Ronald McDonald, whatever the fuck his name is, quit because he was so pissed, and he'd been there since like 03, like worked on the 360 and shit.
Yeah.
Is that true? I don't know. I'm going by what he said, but I mean, the dude was offering me all kinds of Microsoft discounts, so he had some kind of connection, you know? I didn't know they could add 10 family members for free under their account.
It just makes a lot of sense, guys. I mean, just think about things logically and in your own personal experience, right? Like, if you have an opportunity to do something with a lot of upside and a little bit of downside, you're going to take that chance, right? If things aren't working out for you in one situation, you're going to look to get out of it. Why would it be different in the video game world? Like, people think that normal problems that happen everywhere or normal solutions that happen everywhere are all of a sudden exempt from the video game industry. Why? Come on, bro. There's bad news everywhere. Bad things happen all the fucking time. There's incompetent companies all the fucking time. A lot of people shit on GameStop all the fucking time. They're like, oh, I ordered this fucking game online. They sent me the wrong one, or it's cracked or whatever. Why is it
worse? They are fucking horrendous.
Well, for you, for me, they're great. Why is it impossible?
You're the only person I've heard say that.
Why is it impossible?
Doomsayer, God, his GameStop has got to be the worst in the whole
his
planet.
luck is just terrible. I feel so bad for him. But why is it impossible for you to just say or admit that Xbox is just a shitty console maker? Like, it's not wrong to say that. We look at the numbers; they're the least sold ever. We look at the games that they have on there. What games? It's all third-party shit. I mean, come on. The evidence is right there. There's less and less Xbox gamers out here. We have RPG who just sold his Xbox, and he's been gaming on Xbox for, gosh, I don't know how long. Your favorite YouTuber more than likely were an Xbox guy, and now they're a PlayStation guy. Off the top of my head, I'm thinking of Salty. I'm thinking of Jess. I'm thinking of who else? Who else, Nelson? Who else was an old Xbox guy and now is a fucking PlayStation guy?
Mooch, Tim Dog.
Mooch, yes. Tim Dog, the most recent one. Toolman says, I thought they did away with the developer free family deals.
They were going to, but
oh yeah, they got pushback.
I remember they fought. Yeah, they got pushback from that.
Yeah, they got pushback.
But this is also when I talked to this guy. This is like 2001. So.
Oh, so that was a long time ago. But yeah, man.
Yeah,
I mean,
the console was out. That's why it was a little more relevant because the guys that he knew had recently worked on it. Like, well, a lot of them quit, but. I'm just going by what he said, but yeah, he sure knew a lot about Microsoft because he worked there for 10 or 12 years, I think he said. So I don't think he was really lying because he was literally like, nah, just give me your screen name. I can add you to my family. I'm like, I don't know you, dude. I appreciate it though.
Now this year, it looks very promising for Xbox game wise. I mean, they have some hitters supposed to be coming out, right? They got Doom.
A lot of games, especially because they bought how many? I mean, Jesus Christ! If they didn't buy those publishers, where the fuck would they be at though? Like this whole like their generation is not good in general. But if they didn't buy them, you'd have flop Motorsport and fucking fucked up Halo and the fuck else would they have?
Yeah, nothing.
Psychonauts, I guess.
No, Psychonauts that came out. Oh, Pentiment, yeah. Yeah, no, it's just a big cluster, man. A big cluster. Moving on, have you guys seen the Nintendo Switch Joy-Con leak? Let me know in the comment section. So something interesting about this is Visions of Mana, Hero. So there's been a leak out there. Well, there's been numerous leaks for the Nintendo Switch. And if you guys can go back to early December, I did a podcast, or mid-December, we did the podcast, and we talked about how these third-party aftermarket freaking accessories were all coming out with items and that you can pre-order for the Nintendo Switch 2. And I said something along the lines of, it's real simple for them to create something like a case and just make adjustments once they get the specifics of the console. Well, just yesterday or the day before, we had a leak with the Joy-Con. Now, people have ran the serial number of the Joy-Con leak, and it shows up on Nintendo's website as an actual item or an actual serial number for one of their hardwares, and that it's under warranty. When they mess around with that number and try to change it to see if anything happens, that number no longer is void, or it becomes void, meaning that this controller more than likely is a real thing. So a couple things that I saw about it that stand out to me right away is that they are bigger, which I really, really like that. And while I was doing my little inquiries on the Nintendo Switch 2, it seems like it's going to be just about the same as the Nintendo Switch 1, but about an inch bigger. The rumor is that the current Switch is 7 inches, the new one will be 8 inches, so about an inch bigger. But they're making the Joy-Cons a little bit bigger. And of course, you guys saw the specs with the performance of the Switch. Nelson, what do you know about the Switch 2 based on these leaks that you believe to be true or that you think is complete bullshit?
I don't really know anything.
Nelson doesn't know anything. I guess he doesn't have social media.
No, I don't.
What is it that you said here? Henry says the last thing they need to be doing is holding the line.
I don't really believe anything till I see it. So fucking, I don't know. It doesn't sound like it's going to be all that that great, but I mean it's Nintendo, so they're gonna do things at a budget because they know they're not a premier. They're everybody's side bitch. Shut up.
Download if it has.
Well, I don't think the Nintendo Switch is that great to begin with. I mean, I think it's a cool idea that you can dock it and, you know, play it handheld. I think that's phenomenal. But my problem with the Switch or Nintendo in general is just that they don't have the games I want to play. I mean, they have a couple, like, you know, some of the Marios and Donkey Kongs and whatnot, but that's about it. You know, maybe Zelda, but that's it. Nintendo still has the same problem that they had back in the early 2000s, late 90s when I decided to leave Nintendo, which was they don't have the mature games that I like to play. I mean, they've done better now, but why play them on? It's the same problem that I have with the Series S. Why would I play a third-party game on the Series S or Nintendo when I can play it on the PS5 Pro or the PS5? Why? So then my question to you, Nelson, and chat is the Switch 2 an automatic buy? And if it's not, what does Nintendo need to do in order for you to buy their shit?
I don't buy it for me because I got kids.
No, I'm saying for you personally, not your kids. For you personally.
I ain't buying it regardless. I don't use handhelds.
So what does Nintendo have to do in order to get you to buy their new console?
There's nothing they can do.
So they can't do fucking 4K at 120 frames per second. They can't fucking.
I know they ain't gonna do that. So it ain't even.
But that's not the question.
Talking about. I'm not buying it.
So you're a Sony pony for real. You don't care. You're like an Xbox. Whatever PlayStation does is okay.
It's gonna be a handheld. I don't want a fucking handheld.
See, unlike Nelson, I'm open for business. If anybody, I don't care if it's Xbox, I don't care if it's Apple, I don't care if it's Amazon. You can earn my business at any time. But the first thing that you need to do is make the games that I want to play. That's why it doesn't matter if Nintendo runs at 500 frames per second and has 30K fucking visuals. If they don't have the games I want to play, they're not going to earn my business. Now, for the Switch 2, just like Nelson, I'll be getting it for my son. But it's not something that I will spend time gaming like I do on the PlayStation or even Xbox. RPG says it's not a buy for me personally. It's a side chick for Henry. Yeah, I don't know. So why is Nintendo doing so well if a lot of the hardcore gamers don't have any interest in the Switch at all? Nelson, you with us?
Making sure my kid's not fucking racking up a fucking bill on Switch right now. I left my credit card on there to get Nintendo fucking upgraded bullshit.
Yeah, I agree, Hero. Casuals and cheap. I also think that the Nintendo Switch is a secondary or tertiary console for a lot of people. I think a lot of people are just like me, where they're like, well, I only want to play Zelda or Mario, and it's only $200, so yeah, I'll get it. But yeah, I don't think Nintendo just hasn't had it for me in a long time anyway, so. But these leaks look interesting, and
other games either. I really don't.
You played Mario RPG on there?
A little bit. Yeah, that's it. That's the only game I finished.
There's one game that I want to buy, but I don't think I'll ever buy it because it's $100 physical at least, and that's the Super Mario Party, or not Party, but Super Mario 3D All Stars, where it has the 3 Super Mario World games, the Mario 64.
Marcus actually plays 64 quite a bit.
You got it physical?
No.
Oh.
I don't buy anything physical no more. I'm never doing it again either.
Well, if you had a physical, you can sell that bitch for $100, $150 right now.
Well, I don't plan on selling it.
But that would be...
cost me more to get it later.
That would be the only... Well, you're a digital guy. If I didn't have
it physical, I'd hang on to it for another fucking 15, 20 years.
I've been tempted to buy it on GameStop. Only reason I haven't is because I don't know what I'll get from GameStop. I don't know if I'll get a bullshit case or whatever, but that's probably the only game.
If you get a good copy, I would hang on to it for like 15 years from now, it's probably going to be quite a bit.
Oh yeah, absolutely. But yeah, I mean, if I get that, that's probably all the Super Mario that I need, and with that, you can run it on the Switch. So don't really need much more after that. And what's up, Angus? I made a omelet and nothing I made. Well, I'm glad. Hope you enjoyed your breakfast, bro. What was the last? Oh, and the last thing we want to talk about tonight is Nelson wanted to do top 10 games of 2024. We have talked a lot about 2024, but we never mentioned our top 10 games of the year. So I think that's a good opportunity to kind of bring them up and talk about them. And I don't know what Nelson's going to do, but what I'm going to do is I only played 11 games that came out in 2024, and I've also beaten. I'm not going to be like these journalists who only play a couple hours of a game and now all of a sudden I'm qualified to review them. Oh, absolutely.
Well, I'm not reviewing it, but I got one in my fucking.
Absolutely, Stellar Blade is worth it. Absolutely. Well, we'll start with you, Nelson.
My top 5.
We'll start with you, Nelson. What is your number 10 of 2024?
Number 10. Where's my notes? I wrote this down. Number 10 is Akambot. I actually really like this game. It's only a $20 game. You can get it on sale for like $10-15 sometimes. It's like playing Ratchet and Clank. It's a cheap game. I put like 25-30 hours into it. Really enjoyed it. Kind of brought me back to a simpler time of gaming, and it was a lot of fun. I liked it a lot.
Tell people
some pretty decent games.
Is it a platformer or what is it?
Action platformer. You got all types of guns, and it's a lot like Ratchet and Clank, but with more guns and traversing across lots of. But my favorite thing about the game was all the mini games. You're in Gatling guns, and you're in fucking spaceships and goddamn rovers, and just you're doing all types of different stuff. There's probably 25-30 different mini games in the game, and they're all pretty damn fun too.
Yeah, I also own Akimba. I have played probably about 6-7 hours into it. Haven't beaten it yet, but yeah, I agree with Nelson. It's a pretty fun game. For me,
it was pretty rough when I first picked it up, but when I picked it up the second time, they had patched it and stuff like that, and it was a whole nother experience. It was pretty rough. There was a lot of clipping and shit like that when I first picked it up, but yeah, when I went back to play it, it was really, really good.
Yeah, for me, it's a little bit difficult, but nothing crazy. It's not as easy as a regular platformer. Let me open my notes up because I actually took notes because I had to really count, man. I played 98 games last year and I only played and beat 11 of them. So, number 10 for me is a game called Indica. Indica? No, Indigo? Not Indigo. No, Indica.
Oh.
Indica is.
I know it's been on other people's list. I listened to it today of top 10 most underrated games of the year. That was on there.
Yeah, Indica is a third-person adventure game. It was published by 11-Bit Studios, but it was developed by Odd Meter. It released in May of this year, and the reason I picked this game as number 10 is, one, because I only beat 11 games this year that are 2024, so I had to pick something. But in all reality, I really did like the game. It's a very unique game. You play as a nun who is sent on a mission to go deliver a letter. And throughout the whole game, the nun is kind of going back and forth between her faith, and she has like this little superpower that she gets from the devil, and he's constantly the whole game tempting her to convert, basically, to stop being a believer. And the thing that I liked about the game the most, one, is the story and how she's going between that good and evil, but two, it has some very fun mini games in that game. Like, you had a whole bunch of genres, different varieties. So like one of them was like a racing game, and it looked like a 16-bit kind of mini game. And I just found that to be very, very unique. There's some puzzles in there as well. And I just found it funny every time she prayed, the demons would go away. So it did some interesting stuff in there that I've never really played in games before. But the story is what I really liked about it, and just some questionable things, or not questionable, but things that we question within ourselves a lot. So that was my number 10 of the year. What's your number 9, Nelson?
Blue Fantasy Relink.
Grand
Really
Blue
enjoyed that
Fantasy
game.
Relink.
Love the art style, love the combat, the music, the boss fights. Fire game. Really good. One of the better games of the year, in my opinion.
How many hours did it take you to beat that one?
Well, you can play that game forever, but let me check my profile. About 30.
Okay,
I did
so is
do
that long?
some with I would say it's probably 20 to beat normally, but I also played it with I played some with Tornado and stuff like that where we were playing it together. I have 28 hours and I'd say it's about 20 hours if you just play it by yourself, 20 to 23.
Yeah, I played a little bit with you.
You can put endless amounts of time into it though, because you can keep getting upgrades and all kinds of stuff. So
yeah, I played a little bit of it. I liked it as well. I haven't beaten it, but I liked it. It's not like it reminds me of this a little bit, kind of like Visions of Mana a little bit.
It's got a lot of the same art style and a lot of the same combat.
Yeah. My number 9 of the year is Stillwater, or I'm sorry, Still Wakes the Deep. Just a second here. Let me grab my note. So Still Wakes the Deep is actually a game that I played on Xbox on Game Pass. If I didn't have Game Pass, I would have never played it. So Game Pass did its freaking job. And it is it's a psychological horror game. It's a story-based game. There isn't much action in the game at all, but the story is very compelling, and you're trying to figure out what the fucking mystery is the whole time, which is something that I really, really enjoyed. Like, I kept playing a lot of it just to figure out what happens next. But it's one of those games where people will say it's a walking simulator, but there is some puzzle solving, and it just puts you in some weird situation that you need to get yourself out of. So it's active in that way. And I do recommend it. I don't recommend that you spend more than $20 on it, but I definitely recommend to play it if you have. How long did it take me to beat? It took me 9 hours to beat. So that also surprised me, the length of the game. It's actually longer than most. Like, I just beat a couple days ago, what was the game? The Knowing. And that game is a similar kind of game, or gameplay-wise, and that game took me 7 hours to beat. So, relatively short game. Number 8. What is your number 8 game of the year, Nelson?
Tekken 8.
Tekken 8. Wow. Fighter.
I'm a huge Tekken fan. I've always liked Tekken. I like the characters. It's always had really good graphics. Tekken is one of the major reasons I have a PlayStation today. Because when I was at a friend's house and I had my Super Nintendo, my only wealthy friend, that's why he had a PlayStation, because he was the only one at the time who could afford the shit, because this is like 1995 or 96, early 96, something like that. But he was the only one that had money. He had all that new shit because they had money. Dad owned a trucking company. I spent like a week there and I played so much fucking Tekken and Tekken 2 and then Jet Moto, and I was like, this shit is unreal, like the graphics and all this stuff, and I just had to have one. And that's how I got on PlayStation in the first place. So, and the graphics are great, the story was good. My kid played through it too. Loved it. Plus Mortal Kombat sucks now, so you know, you got to stick with what's still good.
I played the demo of Tekken 8 and I didn't even get through the first fight. I'm like, fuck this. I suck. I'm not good at this at all. I'm fucking done. But visually, the game fucking looked amazing. But I have played a little bit of Mortal Kombat, and I did way better in that one. Like, I started doing the campaign, and I
it's the least skilled fighter.
Okay, that makes sense. My number 8 is, y'all gonna be shocked with this one, but once again, I'm picking out of 11 games that I beat this year, and this list is top 10. And just to give you an example, something that I beat in 2024 that didn't make my top 10 is Hellblade. Okay? My number 8.
Oh man, really?
I just said it didn't make my top 10 because
Oh yeah.
it's
Okay.
the 11th game that I beat this year, or that came out in 2024.
Oh,
But
that's
if
bad. You only had 11 to choose from, and it didn't even make the.
the list,
That's not good.
not saying that I didn't buy other games because I did. I bought Rise of Ronin. I have more games that I bought in 2024. But once again, my criteria for this is games that I beat that I can say, yes, I recommend this game or I don't recommend this game. And once again, this goes into Nelson always making fun of me that I buy too many fucking games. Obviously, I don't, because if I only had 11 to choose from and not having the time to play them is not really a thing because I beat 98 games in 2024. My number 8 is actually Black Ops 6, the campaign. Black Ops 6, the campaign. One thing I want to say off the rip, took me 10 hours to complete, which is the longest campaign I have played on Call of Duty in years. I can't remember a campaign that took me that long to complete, including some of the
Most
greatest.
of them are 3 to 5 hours.
They're about 6 to 7 hours. But even some of the greats like Modern Warfare 2, even that took me, I think it was 7 or 8 hours. So right off the bat, you're getting a lot of game in comparison to Call of Duty history. A lot of game there. But I really appreciated Call of Duty 8 or Black Ops 8. I love the campaign. I like how different it was this time. They included zombies as one of the missions in the story, and it makes a lot of sense on how they did it. Spoiler alert. It made a lot of sense. It's not that they just threw it in there just to throw it in there. No, it actually made sense with the story. You were going into this mission. You knew that you had to do this mission. And when you get in there and you see the zombies, it made total fucking sense. Also, they did it in a way that had sub levels. Now, this game is semi-open world, not semi-open world, but you basically go up to the board and you pick missions, and then you can go and do that mission, and you do that map and that level, which I liked as well. But the biggest thing about Black Ops that I liked is obviously the gunplay. I've said this numerous times before that Call of Duty makes one of the best feeling gunplay, gun action gameplay in the video game industry. I mean, they've been doing it for so long. They do it every year, but this actually feels really, really good. But yeah, awesome campaign. I like the story. I really didn't care too much for the characters, but way better than fucking Call of Duty Vanguard. That's for damn sure. What is your number 7, Nelson?
Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, which was a huge step up from Remake. It's just a few things I didn't like. Mostly my other two characters standing around with their thumbs up their ass, unless I was using them myself. I like games that like Tales of Arise, where your characters are building up and shit like that when you're not using them. So when you do switch to them, it's not like you're starting from scratch. Like, fuck, I need a heal. Oh wait, I don't have any whatever you call them, fucking, maneuvers or magic I can use yet. Like, fucking, what good are you? You know what I mean? But way better than Remake, because not that Remake was bad, but fuck, it got really repetitive being in Midgar, which is in the original game 4 to 7 hours maybe, and then that got stretched into like 50 fucking hours. Like getting to go to new places and shit like that and seeing more of the map. Some places I felt were actually too big, but like, fuck, I'm tired of traversing here. I just want to get to the next town. But way better than Remake.
My number, well, we have 7? Yeah, 7.
7. Yeah.
My number 7 is Helldivers 2. That was my number 7 for the year of 2024. I did get the platinum in that game. That game, the reason it's not higher is because it's a PvE. There isn't. I love my single player narrative driven games, but the fact that it even made my top 10, it's a big accomplishment because I would have never picked a top 10 PvE game at all. But the game is just so much fun. It's got legs. I don't need to talk much about it. You guys know all about it. But man, phenomenal fucking game. The shooting feels great. It's a work of art. It still has its issues. Like, I'm still crashing out. I'm still fucking getting stuck in places. They need to start This shit should have been finished by now, but it is what it is. We're in 2025 now. But that's my number 7. What's your number 6, Nelson?
Is Warhammer 40K.
That's your number 6?
Yep, fun game. Good game.
All right. My number 6 is Astrobot. Astrobot, what can I say? Game of the year. It's the first
flawless for what it is.
It's flawless.
No bugs, no crashes.
Yeah, but mind you,
it's just a good time, man.
Nelson, but it's a PlayStation first party game. You can say that about any PlayStation first party game.
They've all had some bugs, even like Horizon and stuff.
I never had a bug on a Horizon.
Spider-Man fucking crashed. I mean, they were very minor issues. Spider-Man crashed on me, froze on me once.
That didn't happen
Horizon,
to me.
I was fucking racing and goddamn, I was being carried off into the fucking Neverworld. Had to restart that. Had one place where I was ice skating, couldn't move.
Wow, that has never happened to me.
Especially open world games.
The only thing I've seen is Spider-Man 2 with the bike. That's the only thing that I've seen of like a PlayStation first party game, but that's it.
The only reason the Spider-Man one didn't piss me off at all is because the fucking game loads up so fast that when that happened, because I thought I was going to have to go back and restart the whole mission, I closed out of the game, went back into it, and I was like 2 buildings from when it fucking crashed. Like, it took me like no time at all. That really eased the, but it only happened once.
Yeah, I haven't experienced, but Nelson's right with Astrobot. I mean, perfect. There's nothing wrong with the fucking game, and also it's the first time since Ratchet and Clank and what's that other one with the little fucking the one that platformer PlayStation did with that brown little character, Sackboy. Yes, it is the cube. What is the cube?
Oh, we
glitch?
can play that together at some point too.
We should. That game is fucking amazing.
It is. I got stuck on it. I'm retarded. That's why I didn't finish it.
But yeah, I love Astrobot, and it's the first platformer since Sackboy that I've played that I had a good time with, even more than fucking Mario Wonder. I enjoyed Sackboy Astrobot way more than Mario Wonder. I don't know why. Maybe it's because I dislike the Nintendo Switch controller. I don't know why, but I enjoy those.
I only play on the Pro controller, and I've played a few hours of every game. It's just playing on the Switch. I don't know, man. It's just, when I got a PlayStation, it's hard to sit. That's why Switch. Everyone's like, oh, nothing sells as good as Nintendo games. It's like, yeah, what else are you buying on a fucking Nintendo? It's a handheld. You're gonna buy Nintendo games. All the bigger games you're gonna buy on something better than a fucking Nintendo.
Yeah, exactly. What number we at? 5? What's your number 5?
What is my number 5? Silent Hill 2. Shocker. Fucking shocker. I was the one calling that goddamn student because they disappointed me before, especially when I was on Game Pass. That was like Blair Witch. I was like, oh, this looks so good. I got Game Pass. I got to play it on Game Pass.
The Medium.
Trash. The Medium. That was another one that came to fucking just trash. And this game was fucking, it was one of the best remakes ever. And I was really surprised that it was made by Booby Team.
I'm going to look for this. I'm going to look for it. Hopefully I found it. But I remember seeing or watching a video from, what's his fucking name? MBG? Is that his name? MBG?
Probably. Yeah.
On a video MBG did with it was a live he did, and he was kind of doing a quick recap of the awards. I don't know, wherever Silent Hill came out. And I remember specifically saying, and I'm going to look for this so I can screenshot it and fucking show you guys. I said, Bloober has done games that people may not consider to be, super polished and the greatest games ever. But they haven't done something that's completely garbage. I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt, and I think this remake will be good. And this was like 2 years ago. So ever since then, I've been confident in Bloober. Now, I did see the way that what's his name in Silent Hill? Fuck, I forget his name, but the main character, he's walking and it looks a little janky. And then I started to get worried. I'm like, oh fuck. But that trailer did them a disservice. And next thing you know, it came out. But my number,
I don't think PlayStation likes to show a lot of their games until they're close out, because the way the internet now is these days, if you show your shit off too early and it don't look pristine, you know what I'm saying?
yeah,
I really do.
my number
Or you can just
five.
show it off like Xbox and it ain't gonna look nothing like the finished product. You can do one or the other.
My number five is Banishers Ghost of New Eden. So that is a game that I beat early this year, February, actually the last day of February, February 29th. Took me 45 hours to play, and I still have a ton of shit to do in that game because there's a
I'm
lot of
playing it
side
right now.
a lot of side content in that game. But I really enjoyed it, man. I really liked the story of that game. I like that you play as a couple. They're both fucking like witch hunters in a way. And you can use them both. Not that you can pick between the two, but they each have their own gameplay mechanics at the same time, if that makes any sense. But I highly recommend that game, man. There's a little bit of detective work that you have to do, a little bit of you have to solve cases, and then you fight the boss at the end of the case. I just really, really enjoyed that game. I highly recommend that game. And the only
It's
reason
really sad because I like Vampire too, and neither one of those games did very good, and I like their games. At least those two.
Well, the only reason this game's not higher on my list is because I like the other games on my list better. Just a little bit better, but not by much. Every single game on my list is close, except for the first three. All right, so Banishers is my number five. What's your number four?
Blade.
Stellar Blade.
Stellar Yams. We're in the top 5. Number 4, Stellar Blade. Fucking awesome game. Phenomenal game. Look gorgeous, play gorgeous, gorgeous ass. It's a fun game to play. Great music. Fucking music was fucking on point too. Goddamn.
My number four is Outcast: A New Beginning. Outcast: A New Beginning. I love it. I recommend it. You can get a brand new copy of it right now on fucking GameStop for $20. I absolutely love it. It's an open world game. There's a little bit of jank in there. There's a little. It just reminds me so much of like a PS3 era type of game or Xbox 360 type of game. But it's really really fun, man. There's you jetpack through there. You use a glider. You can really travel through there fast or through the different biomes. I like it. I like the story. I like your choices for like how you talk to people. It's just a fun game, so I recommend that one. Nelson, what's your number three? We're in the top three now.
3, Astrobot. We've already said it. Just flawless game. Just pure unadulterated fun. And God, my kids just love that, man. They fought over it. I wish it would have came out when the PlayStation 5 Pro came out, because when it came out, my kids just fought each other to fucking who gets to play fucking the PS5, because they want to play fucking Astrobot. They just love it.
Yeah, it was
Just
a
love it.
phenomenal game. My third is Stellar Blade. Now the reason I put Stellar Blade, oh fuck no, Stellar Blade is not my 3. Stellar Blade is my number 2. My 3 is Silent Hill. Silent Hill is number 3 for me. Only reason Silent Hill did not make it any further is because I'm not huge into the horror games, but the horror games that I do play, I like because of the story. I just feel like the story in Silent Hill 2, it's a little too convoluted for my taste. Like, I never really felt that I understood where I was at when I was at.
It's like playing Control. Super fun game. No idea what the fuck's going on. Right?
I mean, you understand a little bit, but it's just like the
I
story's
put
so
70
convoluted.
almost 70 hours in Control. I have no idea what the fuck that game's about. No clue.
So yeah. Well, I'll just say my number 2 because I already said it, but it is Stellar Blade. Stellar Blade, what can I say? One thing that I love about Stellar Blade that people don't talk about is the replayability in that game with multiple different endings, up to 3 different endings. I think it's 3 or 4 endings. But yeah, I mean, what can I say? Complete. People were thought it was just gonna be Stella Yams, but there actually a lot of substance in that game, and it was unfortunate that that game didn't get nominated for anything. What did they get nominated for in 2024? Nothing really.
Blade?
Yeah.
Action game of the year.
Oh, actually, game of the yeah, just a couple. But it should have been nominated for game of the year, bro, for real. What's your number 3 or number 2?
You're gonna get mad because I haven't beat it yet, but I got 75 hours in it. Black Myth Wukong. And the game's difficult, but
Yeah, but 75
waiting
hours
for
could
the
mean
fir-
you're still in chapter 2, dude.
I'm farther than that. I am stuck
Fuck
again
that
now.
game. Fuck
But
Wukong.
I love Wukong. It's
Wukong
hard as
sucks
shit, though.
dick.
It
You
is.
know-
It is challenging. I beat
I'm-
everything in my area, so I can't really beat anything else. I have to beat this boss to move forward. Can't remember which one it's called. Yellow something, big fat guy.
I'm not mad
And-
at.
I
Sorry,
found
go
out
ahead.
he's got 3 forms, so I'm like, fuck, man, I ain't got past form 1 yet. That's why I was like, I'll play Banishers for a while because I beat everything in that area, and it's like, I'm gonna have to go back to this dude. This might take a while.
See, I'm not mad at Wukong because it's a hard game. I'm mad at Wukong because they told us it's not a hard game. So my expectation were that it's gonna be like an action adventure fucking game. But no, and it ended up being a fucking hard ass game. And that's what I didn't like. They purposely misled us. And that's why I dislike that shit. Like, bro, don't fucking lie. Like, you already have enough people that love hard games. You're still gonna sell a shit ton of games. But fuck, man, that pissed me the fuck off. I remember sending Nelson fucking articles about how the game is not gonna be hard. And now we are down to number 1. Nelson, what's your...
There's hard American and hard Chinese. It's easy for Chinese.
No, it's not easy for them. Fuck them. What's number 1 for you, Nelson?
Helldivers 2.
Huh?
Helldivers 2. Or Helldivers 2.
Oh,
Yeah.
Helldivers 2. My number 1 is Space Marines. Now, I was having a hard time between Space Marine and Stellar Blade. The reason I went with Space Marine 2 is because it's the type of game that I like. Well, I like action adventure too, but I like the shooting. I just like shooting in my games, and Space Marine gave that to me. And another thing that made the decision to make it number 1 is that Space Marine is what I consider to be a complete game. You have a single player campaign, you have that you can do co-op as well. Then you have your PvE, which is the other side of the campaign, the mirror side of the campaign, which is phenomenal. So it's like you're getting 2 campaigns in one. And you also have your PvP stuff. It is a complete game. There's no more features I would want in that game. They did it all. And not just that, the game is actually good. It has great lore. It comes from a IP that is renowned all over the world. I just think that was the best game of the year for more reasons than just gameplay. What about you, Chad? Do you guys agree with me or Nelson's top 10? Oh, honorable mention. My number
They're a lot of the
11.
same games.
My number 11 is Hellblade. Only because it's the all 11 games that I beat in 2024 that came out in 2024. Well, there's other games that came out in 2024. I just haven't beat them. I've played them. You know, Rise of Ronin is one of them. I can't think of another one right now.
Yeah, I haven't finished Rise of the Ronin, so that was.
Oh, Grand Blue Fantasy
I'm
Relink.
not far in it to put it on the list. It might have made the 8, 9, or 10 mark probably, but
Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. I haven't beaten that. But once again, I don't think Final Fantasy is all that. I think it's overhyped. What's another one that came out in 2024 that I didn't finish? Funko Pop. That's another one. That game sucks. Yeah, I think that's a.
Funko Pop.
Metaphor Refantasio. That's another one. Another one. Visions of Mana that I didn't get it until like 2 weeks ago. But yeah, there's just a whole bunch of games that came out that just didn't capture my attention right away enough for me to buy it day one. Even of this list, the only games that I bought day one were, I think all of them. Banishers, I got, Indica day one, Space Marine day one, Helldivers day one. Yeah, all these. But actually, Silent Hill I pre-ordered, And the only reason I pre-ordered that is because people kept telling me or I kept saying on social media how Walmart tends to send pre-orders out early. So I tested it. I think it was Thursday of the previous week before Silent Hill came out. I pre-ordered it to test it, and I got it Sunday night. So after me and Nelson got done with the podcast, I started playing Silent Hill 2.
I did not get the cube glitch, and yeah, I still haven't finished Death Stranding. But RPG, next time you're online, if you want to figure out how to move my PS4 saves over to PS5, I gave up trying to do that. That's one reason I never continued on with it.
All you have to fucking do is download your save data. What are you talking about?
No, you'd have to transfer it in the machine unless they change that.
What do you mean? You don't have PS Plus?
No, I'm talking about like you had to actually physically transfer it, like go to the computer. When it first came out, it did. Anybody know what I'm talking about? RPG, defend me.
And even if you don't, all you got to do is just hook it up from your PS4 to your PS5. You still USB-C.
No. Before you had to manually do it to get because it's a different game. It reads as a different game. Trust me on this one.
What game?
They might have changed it. Death Stranding.
So you're talking about Death Stranding on PS4 to Death Stranding on PS5. That's what you're saying?
Yes.
Oh. Just start it fucking over again.
Fuck you, I'm 20 hours into that game, and that game has been terrible the first 20 hours.
It is. That's why I haven't played it again. That's why I haven't played it again. But isn't there a way to fucking, like every game asks you, do you want to transfer over your data to PS5?
To go into where you get the monster cans and take a shower and shit. You have to go into that computer and put this in or whatever, something. I don't remember. I tried figuring it out. I couldn't do it. There's manuscripts of how to do it, but I always fuck it up. I haven't been able to do it. So I was like, fuck it, I ain't playing it then.
Oh, dude, just focus on the shit you do got. It's not that serious. If you don't even
play 2, I want to know what the fuck's going on.
No, you don't. Just Google it or YouTube it. You'll watch a fucking recap video. No, I'm saying watch a recap video on the story. Hey there. If you don't enjoy it, then you don't want. Who fucking cares? You didn't enjoy it, bro.
Starting that story. Everyone tells me the first 20 hours is terrible. Well, that's where I'm at.
That's not a good game. If the first 20 hours are shit, that's not a good fucking game. Fuck you mean? Why are we making exceptions now? You didn't like it the first 20 fucking hours. You don't like it. Stop trying to fucking. What, you're gonna like the last 5 hours? Of course. That's like skipping the whole movie except for the action parts, and then saying it's a good movie. No, if the movie was shit except for the action parts, then the action parts just was good in that movie. Either way, this fucking podcast has went down for 2 hours, bro. We've been here for a while. Anything else you want to let the people know, Nelson?
Nope. Just get ready for February. It's gonna be an onslaught.
Not really. There's only like 3 games that come out in February that are fucking well known and wanted.
Kingdom Come, Yakuza.
Oh, you're including Yakuza in there.
Yeah, that's what I'm getting.
Yeah, and all I know is
Monster Hunter.
No interest.
Game of the Year, Avowed.
Oh, Avowed. Jeez. All I'm looking forward to is Kingdom Come. That's it. What else is in there? I got my list right here. Let's see. Monster Hunter. I don't think it's for me. See what this fucking list shows. Now you got me wondering. So February, Kingdom Come, Civilization, Assassin's Creed, Like a Dragon, Monster Hunter,
Civilization 7. That's not for me. Assassin's Creed Shadows,
and
Legend of Heroes Trails Through Daybreak.
That's it.
Avowed, Like a Dragon, and Monster Hunter. Those are fucking big games.
For some.
Well, not Avowed, but
I'm not getting none of that shit except for Kingdom Come and maybe Assassin's Creed if I can find a used copy somewhere. I mean, I'm not going to say that the other games are shit. It's just not for me. I don't think it's a big month at all. I actually don't think 2025 is a big year at all. People keep saying it's going to be, they say that every year. This year's going to be the best year ever. No, the fucking ain't. Split Fiction, that's March. No, that's March, bro. I already got that shit down pat.
That's
a
why I'm
fact.
only buying one game in February. I'm passing on the rest of that because when Split Fiction comes out, all that shit's taking a back seat.
Yeah, Split Fiction, it comes
I'm not gonna
out.
buy 10 games that I'm gonna get around to 6 months later, and they're all on sale by the time I get to them. I'm not doing it. I'm done doing that.
Damn, I thought I had. Where the fuck is my updated list? Why isn't Split Fiction on here? Split Fiction had the fucking date. I don't see it. Yeah, I think Split Fiction is either in the
We don't
beginning of
have
the
dates
month.
for a lot of shit yet. I think a lot of people are waiting to see when fucking like goddamn Grand Theft Auto comes out because they're gonna either fucking move shit up or push shit back or do whatever they have to do to avoid that shit like the plague.
Yeah,
Other than Split Fiction, we know like January and February, and we don't know shit after that.
Split. I think GTA will come out probably in the fall, or right around holiday time. But yeah, I don't see this year being as big of a year as people are making out to see. I just don't see it. I don't see it.
I do.
I mean, GTA 6, of course, automatically makes it a big year. First fucking Grand Theft Auto in however many years, 14 years, 13 years, whatever. But yeah, Monster Hunter, I don't see no interest in. Fucking Like a Dragon, I don't see no interest in. I mean, I would like to hear more
Looks fucking amazing.
on Metal Gear Solid. I would like to hear more about that. Like,
Yeah,
when
I
the
want to
fuck's
know when
it
the hell
coming
that's coming
out?
out because I gotta clear my fucking schedule. If just tell me a month.
Let's see here. Just quickly glancing. Little Nightmares 3, that is something I definitely will get day one. Yeah, I'm not seeing fucking anything else here. Damn, it would help if I had my other list.
Am I supposed to get a boat and go down there?
I don't know where my other list is, so I can't tell you. Is that it over there? No.
We
Yeah.
don't have dates for a whole lot of shit. When the hell's Judas coming out? When's you know what I mean?
Oh,
Mafia coming out? When's
oh yeah, Mafia.
Berserker? Fucking well, that's like
That's
March.
March. Outer Space 2, that's another one I'm looking forward to. Doom.
There's tons of game.
Doom, I would like that. But I mean, look, in 2024, you guys just heard.
We just don't have dates for shit.
I played and beat
all.
11 games. That's averaging one game a month. You know what I mean? Which ain't bad, but you know, it's like, come on. We'll see. We'll see what happens this year. I'm not gonna hold my breath for this year. I mean, there are some games that I'm excited for, but we just need to hear more. But that is it for tonight, y'all. Thank you so much for those of you guys that came. I appreciate it. Thank you for coming and hanging out with us and listening to me and Nelson ramble, yapping away. RPG, I wish that was the case. I would like to see more of Light No Fire. I don't think we will, though. I think that's a huge game.
That game went really dark.
Well, you know, it's the shit that they do in the award show, you know, where they announce something and it's not ready for 3, 4, 5 more years.
Yeah, Witcher 4. I'm not even getting excited for that because I know that fucking might be
that ain't coming out
PS6
this year.
by then.
Yeah, that's gonna be.
I wish they would. You know what I wish
years.
they would have showed instead of showing Witcher 4, show that remake. Because I know that'll be out long before fucking. You know what I mean?
They're doing a Witcher 1 remake.
I think so. Yeah. That's what the rumors are.
No, I want that one game.
I'd like because I've never played 1. I really want 2 to be remade too because that's a really great game. But god damn, it holds up like other than the. If you have that game booted up, the opening cutscene still holds up today. But once you get in and start playing, golly.
Nelson, what's the name of the game where the people that did Mass Effect are making?
Oh, X.
Yeah, X something. That's another one that I'm really looking forward to.
That's top 5 for me for the year.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, Judah is another one that I would love to play, but fuck yeah.
Exodus,
yes, Exodus. Oh, I forgot. Ace Combat 8, baby. That should be coming out this year as well. We should definitely be hearing more about that. That's my fucking most anticipated game of the year right there. Love Ace Combat. Just beat it again for like the 7th time today. Fucking great ass game. But that is it, man. Thank y'all so much, and we will talk to you later. Oh, and if you haven't joined our Discord, come join our Discord, man. It's a whole bunch of us. We talk video games and stuff in there, and we try to have a good time. We share memes and stuff, and yeah. So let me know. All right, y'all.
Put
Have a
it
great
in the
night.
link.
I'll put in the link. I will put in the link after I turn this off. Well, thank y'all so much, and we will see you guys on Tuesday for the Just Playing live stream with RPG 88. And I don't know what game we'll play, but if you guys have a request, let us know. Otherwise, me and RPG might play some Darktide. How about that, RPG? Some Darktide? Thank y'all so much, man. Keep it gaming.
How is that? That's one game I might get down the road. Darktide and what's the hell's the other one?
Well, Darktide is a PvE game,
Mm.
but I don't know which other one you're talking about.
Hunt. I want to get that eventually too.
Oh, you can get it on Game Pass right now, and that's a PvE